But I must say congratulations to all the guys for making it through, persevering, and the instructors as well. You know, they're doing a fantastic job. As you can hear, Mr. Prosper spoke a little bit as though he was a bit tired. That's because of the stress from training. All right? So right now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to call on and invite a young man who I consider a brother to me and an inspiration. Ladies and gentlemen, right now, put your hands together for Honorable Jeremiah Norbert, Minister of Home Affairs, Crime Prevention and Persons with Disabilities, who will give a few brief remarks.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Permit me to adopt the protocol already established by the Master of Ceremonies, but I would like to recognize the presence of the Honorable Prime Minister, Philip J. Pierre, and also the Chief Fire Officer, Mr. D.K. Downs, and the DPS in the Ministry of Home Affairs, Crime Prevention, and Persons with Disability, Mr. Ricky Greenland. It gives me great joy to stand here again today, and I say again because just upon assuming office a few years ago, I had the privilege of standing here to witness a graduation ceremony of the St. Lucia Fire Service. And I don't know if it is because the Prime Minister is sitting next to Mr. Downs this afternoon. He has given the Prime Minister full assurance that the next graduation will not be held in Newport, but rather in Marshall. However, when I listen to Mr. Nimra Prosper, and he mentioned what individuals who are responsible for the training. If he mentioned 7, I think 8 of them were from Ibunof or from Monaco. So today it's only up that we have the graduation ceremony here in Ibunof. To the graduating class, I say congratulations. And today really marks the culmination of a journey that was marked by discipline, by hard work, and by dedication to service. I want to thank you immensely for raising your hands and answering that call to serve. You see, I was a policeman for 10 years and I can speak about service. But the call to service is not one that is answered by many. So you find yourself in elite few. When we think of what firemen are tasked to do, I think the only thing we can do today is commend you. Firemen are asked to put the lives of others before theirs. And those parents who are here today, friends, family, you have given up your child to this country. You have given your child to this country to go out there, and when I listen to the fireman's prayer, the harsh reality is that what we call on the men and women of the St. Lucia Fire Service to do is one where we do not know if on any given day when they leave their homes, whether or not they're going to return. That is the harsh reality of the vocation that you have chosen. And no amount of compensation can be adequate for the work that you do. You don't do this thing because of the monetary aspect. The only satisfaction that you can get from that is from the lives that you change and the impact that you make. And as a government, we understand the importance and we value the work that the men and women of the St. Lucia Fire Service are doing and have been doing. And I know that Mr. Downs said that the numbers are not adequate. And I can tell you that your request, I'm happy that when you made the request, the Prime Minister was sitting there, and I know the man who leads this cabinet, and I know when you make a request, it's because you need it. And I know in due time that we will be able to do the necessaries to ensure that we give you the numbers that we need to efficiently run this St. Lucia Fire Service. But we cannot forget the fact that this government and this Prime Minister has made biggest investment in the St. Lucia Fire Service. And you use the adjective unprecedented to describe the level of investment that the Prime Minister has made into the St. Lucia Fire Service. And I remember standing in the House of Parliament and saying, for too long, a mere $800,000 was injected into the St. Lucia Fire Service. And right now, I am speaking of millions and millions and millions. So much so today I realize we're afraid to say the amount of millions that we've gotten. For fear that other agencies may give you a little tap on your shoulder. But the harsh reality is that this government, led by Honorable Philippe J. Pierre, have made significant investment in the St. Lucia Fire Service. And the same training area that I spoke about earlier, I know that some huge investment is being made there as we speak to improve the quality of training and to also improve the quality of the training facility for the men and women of the St. Lucia Fire Service. And the investment has not only been in tangible things like buildings, although as I'm on buildings, I think I should say tomorrow we are visiting the West Coast Fire Station, another addition to the St. Lucia Fire Service to help mitigate against the long waits when we had accidents and emergencies within ancillary canneries and environs. And also a huge investment has also been made into the refurbishment of the Soufre Fire Station. And this again speaks to a government that just does not believe in giving lip service but putting their money where their mouth is. And because as Minister responsible for Home Affairs, under which the Fire Service falls, I'm very happy with the level of investment that this Prime Minister has made in the St. Lucia Fire Service. And as you say, there will always be a need for more, but I think it's important that we recognize where we were, and today, within 4 years, what we've gotten and where we are. And it only speaks to the trajectory that this St. Lucia Fire Service is on, and I guarantee you that you have the full commitment and dedication of this government, and the Prime Minister will speak a little more on that, about what we've done. But with these few words, I just want to say to you, the men and women today, it is your day, the graduating class. I want to say to you, as you heard earlier, to serve with integrity, lead with humility, and continue to carry the flag of the St. Lucia Fire Service proudly. With these few words, I say thank you.
All right. That was a wonderful speech. I would like to do two things right now. In our midst, we have the former police commissioner, Mrs. Polius, inside, and Pelius, and Mr. Pelius as well. One of my favorite officers, used to be at the fire station. Put your hands together for him. We say welcome. And the second thing I want to do is, not often I do, but at one point during the speech, I almost wanted to disagree with Mr. Norbert, and I think the recruits too, when he mentioned that no monetary value can be added on what we do. What? So say it again. All right. He said no monetary can be sufficient, right? And when he said that, I thought my phone was vibrating in my pocket. All I heard was The recruits, I don't know whether the recruits agree with you. Y'all agree? All right, they said you agree. All right, so I take that back. All right, so again, thank you, Mr. Norbert, for that speech. We do appreciate it and accept all that you guys are doing for the St. Lucia Fire Service. Right now, we are going to have our guest speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, please let me welcome Mr. Kurt Harris, Chief Technical Officer, Regulated Substance Authority. Put your hands together for Mr. Kurt Harris.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like permission to adopt the protocol already established, recognizing the presence of the Honorable Prime Minister, the Minister with responsibility for crime prevention, and the Chief Fire Officer. It is both an honor and a profound privilege to stand before you today as we celebrate the culmination of your rigorous training program and the beginning of your journey as fire officers. As someone who has dedicated his life to engineering and education for the last 22 years, I understand the transformative power of commitment, discipline, and service. Today you join the ranks of those who don't just serve a community, but become its protectors, its hope, and its resilience. Fire service is not merely a career, it is a calling. In a small Caribbean nation like ours, where resources are limited, risks are ever present, from terrible vehicular accidents to wildfires to medical emergencies, from industrial accidents to urban fires, you are the line between chaos and order, between despair and hope. The challenges are immense as there is aging infrastructure, limited equipment, and the unpredictability of nature's wrath. That is also combined with the complaints and aggression of the very public that you serve. Yet it is precisely in these challenges that your professionalism, ingenuity, and courage will shine brightest. As an engineer, I have always believed that progress is born from innovation and adaptation. The fires you fight today may not be the same as you face tomorrow. Climate change, urbanization, new technologies, cultural change demand that you are not just responders, but forward-thinking problem solvers. Your training has equipped you with skills, not only the skills, but to the graduates, you are now the face of a modernizing fire service. The community looks to you not just for emergency response, but for leadership, education, and trust. How you conduct yourselves, whether in moments of crisis or in daily interactions, will define how the public perceives your organization. Lead with integrity. In moments of crisis, people will remember not just what you did, but how you made them feel. Treat every life as precious, every call as urgent, and every citizen with respect. Embrace innovation, whether it's adopting new firefighting techniques, leveraging technology for disaster preparedness, or advocating for better equipment. Be the change makers who propel the service forward. Serve with compassion. The strongest leaders are those who serve with humility. A kind word, a patient explanation, or a moment of reassurance can be as powerful as the tools you wield. Small nations like ours may not have the vast resources of larger countries, but we have something far more powerful: community. The bonds you build, the trust you earn, and the lives you save will ripple across generations. You are not just firefighters, you are educators, mentors, and pioneers of safety. As you step into this role, remember excellence is not an act, but a habit. The uniform you wear is a symbol of pride, and it is your actions that will give meaning to it. Strive every day to elevate your service and support your brothers and sisters in arms, and honor the sacrifices of those who came before you. To the leaders of the fire service, the men and women before you today are your legacy. They will rise to the standards you set, not just by your words, but by your actions. Inspire them by leading with transparency and courage. Support them with the tools, training, and trust they need to excel. And most importantly, show them through your own conduct that the modernization and professionalism we speak of are not just ideals, but realities being built every day from the top down. When these recruits see leaders innovating, adapting, and holding themselves to the highest accountability, they will not just follow, they will surpass. The future of this organization depends not only on what they do, but by your example. Class of 2025, the road ahead will test you. There will be long nights, heart-wrenching losses, and moments of doubt. But there will also be triumphs, lives saved, disasters averted, and a community that looks to you as its heroes. When the moments come, you may stand tall, not just as fire officers, but as beacons of hope and progress. Congratulations. Go forth and serve with courage, wisdom, and unshakable dedication. Thank you.
All right, one more time, thank you, Mr. Kurt Harris. Ladies and gentlemen, right now I would like you guys to put your hands together and help me welcome a gentleman, should I say, a visionary, the captain, the chief, the leader. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together as we welcome the Honorable Prime Minister, Philip J. Pierre.
Thank you very much, the Master of Ceremony. Although was reading cats and dogs when I left Castries, I never expected us to have such lovely weather this afternoon. So I need to apologize for being late. I heard the lady in the crowd shout 2 hours. It wasn't exactly 2 hours. My invitation said 2 o'clock. But because of the weather, but I really want to welcome everybody here this afternoon to mention my colleague in the Office of the Prime Minister, Honorable Jeremiah Norbert, the Chief Fire Officer, members, the Deputy Permanent Secretary, Legal Advisor, other members of the Fire Service, and members of the Protective Services, ladies and gentlemen, parents and relatives of the graduates, good afternoon. Today is the second graduation ceremony that I have addressed relating to people in the Protective Services. I did one for the police, and now I'm doing one for the fire service. And I always make that statement, and it seems to either annoy some people or impress others. I come from the time when my father was both a fireman and a police officer. Didn't he probably tell you that there was a time when there was no difference between the fire service and the police I'm sure no one there will do that. So we've come a very long way. And don't ask for the minister in my ministry, he wasn't even born yet. So no one will know how far we've come in St. Lucia. No one will know. It's very difficult to explain to people how far we have come, how well we have done from where we were. And when I can tell you that the government is going to invest in $9 million, $9 million US in the fire services of St. Lucia. $9 million US. I can say without any fear or favor, this is unprecedented. It has never happened before. And that journey began on the 17th of March 2023. Note the date. 17th of March 2023, when the government of St. Lucia applied and received after applying from the Caribbean Development Bank a loan of $9.971,000 for investment in the St. Lucia fire services. And before I outline what that investment will do, I want to tell you that this year, in the protective services of the country. And I'm speaking about the police, the rangers, and the fire service. We have recruited 79 new police officers, 62 rangers, and I think 56 special police constables. And now, although Diddley reminds me that is replacement, now we are recruiting, I think, 52, if the figure is correct, replacement fire officers. So I want to tell you, this is not talk. It's a manifestation of the government's investment. And I notice we are applying or asking for new recruits in the port police. So we are increasing the numbers in the port police also. So these are not things that I'm dreaming of. These things have happened and they continue to happen. And that $9 million US that we are investing in the fire services will give you the following. In fact, you have already received 4 new ambulances. And again, these things are there, they are in service. There are 4 new ambulances, brand new modern ambulances. And here's what is to come in the short run. Here's what is to come to the fire services of St. Lucia. We are going to be getting 6 more ambulances. 6 more ambulances. We're going to be getting 2 fire trucks. One of them is for the airport. These are going to be here in June, and then we're also going to be getting 5 new other fire trucks. Out of that, another one for the airports. And 3 specially designed vehicles to deal with car accidents. And I hope that our drivers, not because we have these vehicles, will cause accidents to happen. These vehicles are to ensure that these things do not happen. And these are facts. These are not things I'm saying from my head or say things that I say will happen. They are things that have happened, and they do not benefit one set of people. They benefit everyone in this country. When someone falls ill and the fire service, the first responders have to come to them, they do not distinguish where they have to go to. They go to a home and they deal with the issues at the home. And when there's a fire and a fire happens, the fire service doesn't say which house they are going to. They are going to out a fire in a house. It doesn't matter who the house belongs to. So this commitment is not a commitment because the government wants to do something for its own aggrandizement. It's a commitment to the people of St. Lucia, and it's a commitment that all the people of St. Lucia will benefit from. Everyone. And this is a matter of fact, that everyone, when the fire service improves, when we have new fire officers, when the level of skill of the fire officers improve because they are TVET qualified, the entire population will benefit. So I think the entire population should applaud the men and women in the St. Lucia Fire Service. And some years ago, I had a discussion in the office. The Prime Minister, I was not the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister at the time was out. I happened to be acting. I was in Hollywood. And I had a meeting with some members of the fire service. And there were some issues in the fire service. And I said to them, have they ever realized the importance of the job that they are doing? And I said to them, when something happens, when someone falls ill, the first person or the first set of people they call is the ambulance. And they said, at the moment, or the time between what happens when that person enters the ambulance and when that person reaches a hospital to get a good injection, when by the time the person gets to that hospital, that is what will save their life. So they are basically, and don't quote me wrong, at this time, when the person is in the ambulance, they are the most important people to the person who is sick. And that is how important that job is. That is why we have to cherish them, and that is why the government is committed to improve their quality of life. And that is why I agreed together in the cabinet to allow them to be eligible for the NIC pension when they have 20 years service or they have reached the age and they have reached the age of 55 years.
Yes, good.
And that was a move to show them how the government cherishes not only the police, the fire service, the correctional officers, how the government cherishes their service. So we said to you, after you serve 20 years or the age of 55 years and 20 years, you can leave and you can collect your pension at 55 years from the NIC. So at 55 years, you can start any time you like, but you can collect your pension after that 20 years. So that is a mark of our appreciation for the work of the people in our correctional services. So I want to tell you that I heard from Mr. Downs that you need more numbers. I don't want to make any promise here this afternoon, because if I make a promise, somebody might say, because I know what's coming. So I will make no promise this afternoon, but I will tell you that if time permits, the government will ensure that the ranks of the fire service are increased. Because St. Lucia is a tourism-dependent economy, and a lot of people who visit our country want to find out how our emergency services are. They want to find out what happens at our airports if a mishap happens. They want to find out how much time it will take to get somebody from the hotel to the hospital. In fact, they want to find out the quality of our emergency services. And this is another reason why it's very important for the government to invest in the fire service and the emergency services. So I want to say to the men and women of the fire service, and particularly to those who have taken a decision, because being part of an organization that entails so much discipline and so much hard work is because you've made a choice. And I want to tell you that that choice is one you've made. And my job is to ensure that you have the resources that you need so that you can provide the service adequately and professionally to the people of St. Lucia. I noted that there are 8 new women recruits, or 8 new women, they call them probationers, as I read here. And part of the package that we negotiated for the fire service is, and I want to read, is as follows. Consultancy services for a development of a gender policy and action plan for the Ministry of Home Affairs. A gender policy and action plan. Mental health and psychosocial support for members of the fire service. And also says there is capacity building training for the fire officers, and 266 males and 63 females, hopefully we will get to that number, to ensure that there is a gender policy. This means that this government will not tolerate any form of sexual harassment in the protective services of St. Lucia. And this is why we want to have a policy, a gender policy. The men and women in the protective services must be the highest integrity, and their behavior must be of the highest integrity. We cannot tell adults what to do. Adults are adults. But we want to ensure that there is absolutely no form of sexual harassment, of sexual discrimination in the protective services of St. Lucia. And this is why we are ensuring that there will be a stipulated gender policy as far as that is concerned. So I want to end by congratulating the men and women in the fire services of St. Lucia, the emergency services. I want to congratulate Mr. Ditley Downs for his commitment to the improvement of the fire service. I've never seen a public servant, I want to say harassed, I will not say that, to ensure that he gets things for the fire service. Up to this afternoon, he was on my case about new recruits and trying to tell me he let him graduate in Marshall. Hopefully, he knows, because of my commitment to my constituency, if he tells me that, I will hurry up. But I'll tell you, Mr. Downs, no matter where they graduate, it doesn't matter. Once they serve the people of St. Lucia, that is what concerns me. Improve services to the people of St. Lucia. So I want to end by again thanking everyone, apologizing for being late in spite of the rain, and saying to the men and women who've joined and the other men and women in the fire service that you are an important sector in the country, St. Lucia. I want to also congratulate the guest speaker, because he again, where he is also the evolution of St. Lucia as a country, the evolution of a new thinking, the evolution of new ideas, which is led by the people in the registered in the Regulated Substances Abuse Unit. So thank you very much to the parents and the guardians and to the relatives of the graduates. I want to tell you, thank you for allowing them, for giving them the encouragement, for giving them the leadership, because you had to lead them to cause them to be able to be the men and women that they are. And I want to say to them, keep your eyes focused on the job you have to do. Remember, even though we try our best to make your salaries what the government can afford. And I want to tell you that, and I want to use my words carefully again, this I will be misquoted, that the last collective agreement that was signed, or that will be signed, although I've heard queries about why it hasn't been signed, but you know we in St. Lucia where we're happy. The last collective agreement, a major sticking point was the fire service. I will not go further, because we don't want to create any unnecessary discussion. A big part of the negotiations was the fire service, major part of it. But I'm very happy to tell you that it successfully negotiated. I want to thank the fire service for understanding the government's plight in negotiating a 13% pay increase for the next 6 years. And you may not believe it based on what you are hearing, but this is the largest pay increase for civil servants since the year 2000, I want to get the year right, since the year when Stephen King was Prime Minister, and it was 40%. And if you know where Stephen King is now, you'll know why. So that was, and then you know, these things, because you know, there's a lot of talk, a lot of bravado, a lot of talk, a lot of bravado. But you have to, these things have been measured by facts. By fact, what is really true. The last increase given to public servants, the last time, was less than 1% per year. Less than 1% per year. These are the facts that are verifiable. And I can tell you, next week, I'm going to be signing or viewing the collective agreement that will cause public servants to get a 13% pay increase over the next 2 dry years. Confidence and the measure of the belief that we have in our civil service and the belief that we have in our protection in our law services. So thank you very much for what you do, and I do wish you a happy day. Thank you.
All right, one more time, put yours together for the Prime Minister. Honorable Philip Bouquet. I think that was my favorite part of the ceremony so far. You put me in a tight spot because I'm 15 years already in the service. I was thinking of retiring after my 20th year, but now he said it's over 6 years, so I might have to do 6 years for me to get my full 13%. So and I can't just leave after the 6, I might have to do 8. So I have to get 2 years of the full 13%. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, right now we are going to hand over the certificates to the graduates, but I know you want your photos and everything. So we are asking kindly that you do not come in front of the cameras over here and the tent with the ministers and the other invited guests. So you can have your photos over here. All right? We have enough Desmond Collymore inside here already. So he doesn't want a team. So you can take your photos on the outskirts, but not in front of the cameras on the center. All right? So at this moment, we'd like to invite our guest speaker, who's going to assist us, Mr. Kurt Harris, and all right. So Miss Mangal is gonna be assisting us as well, and we'd like to invite our guest speaker to do the handing over of the certificates. All right. Mr. DJ, you can give us a nice little music in the background there. A nice little. Proud of it. Okay. All right, so we'd like you guys, when you and your names march swiftly, collect your certificates. All right. So we'll do that as soon as we get a little proud of it. Promote thyself. Miss John, let's come forward. All right. All right, so when you guys are collecting your certificates, you stand to the left of the guest speaker, all right? All right, so right now we'd like to call on